Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a battery from SUNGOLDPOWER. This company is well known for their low frequency inverters, which are top of the line. So I can't wait to open up this box and see what kind of batteries they make. Okay, right out of the box we have some very nice thick foam that actually covers the top and the entire sides, which is nice. And we have the battery right here. I noticed right off the bat that it has hard carrying handles, which, you know, I kind of like them. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to, like the nylon. So it looks like, I mean, they do lay flat against the case of the battery, so I'm guessing that they're not made to come off, which is fine because they kind of form into the case. So this battery is from SUNGOLDPOWER. Like I said, it's a 100 amp hour, 12.8 volt lithium iron phosphate battery. It's just a simple sticker. It says voltage, capacity, and the energy, which is 1280 watt hours. It has some cautions about what not to do, and it has the website right here. It says that it's self-heating, it has Bluetooth, and is IP65 rated, so it is waterproof, so it can be used in a marine environment. On the top, you'll see that it says LFP 12.8 volt 100 amp hour and 1280 watt hour again, and then it has a simple battery capacity voltage monitor right here on the top. And right now, if you turn it on, it shows 13.2 volts, and it shows the capacity at roughly 50 to 60%. Okay, another thing I just noticed is that this battery does not come with any kind of documentation. So you will probably have to go on their website if you want to see the dimensions or the weight or anything like that. But we'll go ahead and measure it out just so you know what those are. All right, we got, looks like right at 12 inches across. It is 8 1/4 inches tall, and it is 6 5/8 inches deep. The monitor on the top did say, what, 13.2? But I'm going to go ahead and test it with a multimeter anyway, just to make sure. All right, my multimeter reads 13.16. So yeah, it's rounding up a tad bit. That's just fine with me though. Okay, I do see that it comes with the bolts already on there. And it is just a bolt with a lock washer and 2 separate washers. That's interesting. Usually it's only one washer, and usually everything is kind of included. So this is different. I don't know if I like that. I don't like it because I tend to lose washers and lock washers all over the place because I drop stuff. So I do like it when the washer and the lock washer are actually attached to the bolt. That's just for me. And I do notice that it doesn't come with like a Phillips head. It's just a bolt. So keep that in mind. But it looks like it's an M8 bolt, which is a pretty standard for a 100 amp hour battery. And it doesn't come with any kind of covers or like that. So if you get this battery, I suggest maybe purchasing some sort of cover. So you know, if you drop a screwdriver or something long across these, it's not going to hit right on the terminal. It's going to hit on that little plastic piece that's covering it. Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and charge this battery up to 100%, and then we're going to do a discharge test. But while I'm charging it, I'm going to go ahead and try to find a Bluetooth app so we can kind of check that out. Okay, so I'm right in the middle of charging this battery up, and I went on, first I went on Google Play or the App Store or whatever to find, I just did a search on SUNGOLDPOWER to see if a BMS app would come up, and nothing did. So I went to their website, which is mobile friendly, which is nice, and then I found this battery, which is it's the 12 volt 100 amp hour battery that's Bluetooth and heated capable, and I clicked on it, and then I went to the user manual because I figured the manual will probably have what the name of the app is, and of course it does. It says that there is a Bluetooth function and that I need to look up LL battery monitor in the App Store. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And here it is. And there's only 100 plus downloads, so not too many people have downloaded this app. Okay, so I just downloaded it, and I'm going to go ahead and press open. And the first thing I see is that it says find device. So I'm going to press that down there. Only this time, while using the app. No, only this time. That's fine. Yes, I will allow that. That's allowing my Bluetooth. And now here is a list of everything that has Bluetooth down here in my basement. And I'm guessing the Z12-100-3724. Yep, voltage is 13.37. State of charge is 58%. And the current going into it right now is 5.9, which is probably right. Yep, my charger says 6.6, so 5.9 is probably about right. Protection status is none. Let's see, that's on the monitor, so let's go ahead and click on cell data. And that shows the voltage of each cell in the pack, but there's 4 since it's a 12-volt battery. Yep, it shows them. It shows all the voltages, and they're all relatively close, which is a great thing. I also like how it shows the temperature. It looks like there's 2 temperature sensors, probably near the batteries, and 1 temperature sensor on the actual BMS itself. So it shows it. Well, actually, there's only 1 temp sensor because only one of them is working. And it says 19 degrees Celsius, and the temp of the BCB is also 19 degrees. Okay, well, the capacity test is done on this SUNGOLDPOWER 100 amp hour 12-volt lithium iron phosphate battery. So let's check out the results. All right, and what we have is we have a total of 101.61 amp hours. That equates to 1,244.96 watt hours, and this test took 10 hours, a little over 10 hours. All right, that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to pay for. So let's go ahead and charge this thing back up to like 100%, and then we're going to do a max amperage test to make sure that it can continuously discharge 100 amps, and then we'll push it even higher to make sure that it will shut off. I believe the documentation said 200 amps, so we'll push it up to 200 amps to make sure that that works as well. What I have here is I have a griddle. It's a 1200 watt griddle. I'll be turning this on, and it's about 100 amps at 12 volts. So I'm going to run this for like 5 minutes just to make sure it can do it continuously for 5 minutes, which it should with no problem. And then I also have a 500 watt heater here, and I have my new wave, which I can push up to 1300 watts. So we're going to be kind of turning things on to see at what point it turns off. So let's go ahead and turn this on and switch on the app. All right, there we go. You can see right there in the on the right hand side where it says current. You'll be able to see the current of what's coming out of the battery. So let's go ahead and turn this griddle on and start the test. Oh, and we need a timer. There we go. 1 timer. Turn this on, timer. See you in 5 minutes. Okay, well, it's been 5 minutes and this griddle has been powering the entire time. You can see on the app that we are still have a constant current of right at 100 amps, so that worked perfectly. The battery is not warm at all. It doesn't feel like it's been even turned on. That's amazing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn on this 500 watt heater and we're going to see if it stays on. Okay, the current is now up to 150 amps, 151. So, and there it goes. It just turned off. That's perfect. That is perfect. That is exactly what you want. Okay, well, the SUNGOLDPOWER 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery passed the maximum amperage test and the over amperage test by turning off after about 10 seconds. Perfect. And it also switched back on about a minute later. I believe that is exactly what you wanted to do. Now, the tricky part. I want to do a cold temperature charging and discharging test. So I usually throw it in my freezer, but this guy is heated. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it in that freezer anyway, and we are going to take a screenshot of the battery state of charge, and then I'll come back in 24 hours and I'll see what the state of charge is after that, and we'll be able to look on the app what the temperature inside the battery is, if it's still on. So let's go ahead and just throw it in that freezer, and I'll come back in 24 hours. All right, well, it's been 24 hours. Let's see how this SUNGOLDPOWER battery is doing. All right, I see that the little display on the top does not turn on. Let's see if it'll power this little 500 watt inverter. I'm thinking it won't. I think the BMS has completely shut this battery off. Oh no, look at that. The inverter turns on. On the app, it does show that the PCB is -1 and the temp is -1, or the temp is 1. So the batteries are 1 degree Celsius and the PCB is -1 degree Celsius. So the charger, it will still power something. The inverter turns on, but let's see if it'll charge. All right, moment of truth. It's right on the cusp, so it might charge. And look at that. It shows that the voltage is 13.3, but it is not pushing any electricity into the battery right now. So it will not charge. Okay, so what do I think of the SUNGOLDPOWER 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery? This thing does exactly what we expected it to. It passed every test that I threw at it. It passed the capacity test. It gave us over 100 amp hours. It passed the cold temperature charging test. It would not charge, but it still worked because it was right at freezing. It wasn't below freezing. I mean, it was like right at, it said that the PCB was -1 degree Celsius. So that is right where you can still use the battery, but you can't charge it. And it worked perfectly. Also, it could hold 100 amp discharge for 5 minutes with no problem whatsoever. And also, once you tried to do an over amperage event, it shut off. So this battery is exactly what you want to use. And also with the heating function on this battery, I noticed that I put it in that freezer at 90%, and that heater must have kicked on because when I pulled it out to do this test, the battery was only at 72%. So it must have used 18% of the battery trying to keep it warm in that freezer. So the heating elements inside the battery work just fine. If you have any questions about the SUNGOLDPOWER battery, please leave them in the comments. I'll have a link to this in my description. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.